What is up, guys? James here from the Light of Riga YouTube channel, and in this video we're going to be doing a reading for all my Aries sun sign friends. If you were born between the dates of March 21st and April 19th, then you're an Aries sun sign, and this video is for you. Today we're talking love, guys. It's my love reading for August, and this is going to be an eye-opening reading. This is my hope. I'm going to do a reading for those in a relationship, and then I'm going to be doing a reading for those who are single. If you are one or the other, you're more than welcome to skip through the video, and if anyone wants to put the timestamp below, that's fine. So that's what we're going to do today, and this spread is going to tell us, you know, what energies you're bringing to relationships, what energies your partner's bringing if you're in one, what energies are blocking you if you're not in one. You'll see. It's going to be pretty informative, I hope. I've got some crystals with me today. I've got my rhodonite, I've got my sodalite, and I've got my rose quartz. These two are definitely crystals of love, and they're going to help us bring those loving vibrations to this reading. Alright, I'm going to be using Llewellyn Classic Tarot. It's a little bit cartoony, but I like it. I hope you do too. I have a deck review of this deck if you want to see that. Alright, so please give me a moment to center myself and ask the tarot cards a question. First, for those in a relationship, what are the energies of Aries sun signs who are in a relationship? Alright, that ought to do it. We'll cut the deck. And we're going to deal out 5 cards. Okay. Now we're also going to incorporate the Earth Magic Oracle, and we're going to ask the Earth Magic Oracle what message it has for Aries sun signs who are currently in a relationship. And we will look at that card at the end. Alright, so we got 5 cards here, and we'll go through these one by one and see what they're having to say, and then see if they tell us a message overall, okay? So the first card we're going to look at here is your energy, Aries, at this time for those of you who are in a relationship. And we've got us the Hermit. Now, give me a second. Okay, so I'm getting a sense here of maybe a little bit of detachment from the relationship. Not that you're bored, although some of you may be bored with the relationship, but I get the feeling that some of you are kind of withdrawing into the self at this time, and you're kind of doing a little bit of soul searching and maybe some internal meditations and asking yourself some questions about who you are and where you want this relationship to go. So I definitely see a little bit of a detachment from your partner at this time for a lot of you. And this is not necessarily a bad thing. Even in these long-term relationships, or especially in long-term relationships, we need a little bit of time to ourselves, and we need to, you know, we go through phases where we just kind of withdraw a little bit, and then we advance, and we withdraw and advance. So this is natural. I wouldn't be worried about it, but make sure you're using this time for the highest good. Make sure you're asking yourself the tough questions and getting to know yourself better, and instead of just using this time to escape from your partner, use this as a transformative time, okay? So that's the energy that I see you bringing to this. This card here represents your partner's energy. Oh, interesting. Very similar cards. Now we have the Hanged Man. And this is giving me the feeling that your partner is very patient for the most part, and he or she is kind of waiting for you a little bit, right? Is being patient for you, is in a state of limbo. They might not like it. You know, just because you're a patient person doesn't mean that you like waiting. It's just that you will do it because you love the other person, right? And so I get the feeling that your partner is kind of waiting for you to figure yourself out, waiting for you to come out of this kind of introspective time, and is being a patient is being patient. Is going to be there for you when you are ready to come out of your shell and reunite, so to speak, right? So yeah, I get the feeling of patience from your partner. That's a very nice card. Maybe some communication would be nice, and let them know how you're doing and maybe why you've kind of withdrawn. I think that might be a a good thing to do for your partner, so that he or she is just not in the dark, so to speak. Okay. This card here represents what's working in the relationship, and we have the Two of Pentacles. And I get the feeling that what's working in this relationship is the day-to-day stuff. You guys, maybe your living situation, maybe your day-to-day stuff is going pretty well. Is that you complement each other, and there's not a lot of friction on a daily basis. Maybe your partner picks up the kids and you do the cooking, or vice versa, and it's a symbiotic, very balanced relationship. The day-to-day things are taken care of, and I get the feeling that there's just a kind of a synergy of teamwork there a little bit, and you guys get along on a day-to-day basis very well. So yeah, I see that what's working is the little things, right? You guys complement each other in little ways that create a nice whole, if that makes any sense. So that's cool. This card here represents what's not working, and we have the Six of Pentacles, and I get the feeling that there's not an even exchange. Like, one person is giving more than that person is receiving. It could be you, it could be your partner. I'm not 100% certain, but I think that especially when it comes to maybe one of you is earning a lot of money and the other isn't, and that's kind of upsetting to one of the parties, or maybe to both parties. Maybe if you're the one that's earning a lot, you're frustrated that your partner doesn't contribute as much, but the person who doesn't contribute as much is frustrated that they can't contribute as much. So I think this is kind of a little bit of negativity on both sides, that there's an uneven exchange. But this is not just like about money either. This could be about time. This could be about even emotions possibly, but I do get the feeling that there's an imbalance here, that one person is putting in more than the other person. So that's something to think about as you progress. Maybe think about all the ways that you contribute and all the ways your partner contributes, and see how you can contribute more, or how you can help your partner to contribute more. So that's something to think about, definitely. A lot of pentacles here so far. This card here represents where you're headed. This is the direction that you are going into. We've got the Queen of Swords, and my immediate thought here is, well, let me go into this card. I want to make sure I get this right. Okay, this is like a journey into the ego, is the kind of the feeling I'm getting. There's both positivity and negativity from this card. I do get the feeling that you guys are on an intellectual playing field, even intellectual playing field. You guys are both a match for each other as far as the intellect goes, and that you are, you're both intelligent, or equally intelligent, I should say, and you're a match. But I also get the feeling that just maybe that ego is also, there's a dark side to it, and maybe one person is trying to dominate over the other a little bit, and that it's possible for some relationships. Remember, this is a general overall reading, and not everything's going to apply to you and your relationship. But I do get the feeling that since this is a queen, there's a queen involved, that I think there's some softness to this. This is not a big problem. It's not even a problem. It depends on the way you look at it. But just looking at all these cards here, I don't see any cups. I don't see enough emotion right now. I see a detachment. And like I said, this is neither positive nor negative. It's just what it is, right? And so there's a detachment there from you, and maybe your partner is a little bit on the fence, not sure which way to progress. So the day-to-day stuff, the little stuff, is taken care of. I think what this spread is trying to tell me is that the emotions involved need to be figured out. You need to figure out what you truly feel about the other person, what you feel about this relationship, and how you can change this relationship to make you feel better about it. And I think one way to do that is to start creating an even exchange, and one person giving as much as they're receiving. And you're headed towards an ego type thing, which is not necessarily the best thing in a relationship. You want more passion, right? So I think more emotion interjected into this relationship is going to benefit you a lot, Aries friends. Okay, let's take a look at the Earth Magic Oracle and see what message it had for those in a relationship. And we've got the Lotus Flower Unfoldment. Put that there. So cycles. I get the feeling of cycles. You know, when I read this card, I'm reminded that, you know, the lotus flower, during the day, it'll point its petals toward the sun, and at night, it'll recede into the lake and kind of go down into the depths, into the dark. And that's kind of the feeling I'm getting from this relationship right now. This relationship's in the midst of a cycle. You're up one moment, and then you're receding the next. And don't be fearful of these cycles. Just because you're not feeling great about the relationship right now does not mean it's a strong. Does not mean that's not a strong, beneficial relationship. It just means that you're going through a cycle. You're learning some new things about the relationship, and you're trying to grow and become better. So if you do feel like you are in a receding period, definitely try to work to make the relationship better, but don't just abandon it just because you're at a low point. I think things need to be worked through, is the feeling I'm getting from this card. So all in all, I do see some cyclical natures, a cyclical nature to this relationship at this time. So don't be fearful, and try to find some more balance in this relationship. I think it'll help you a lot. Okay, so I hope that helped. Now we will move on to those who are single. All right, that ought to do it. 5 cards. All right, and then the Earth Magic Oracle. What message do you have, Earth Magic Oracle, for Aries sun signs who are single at this time? All right. And as always, we will take a look at that at the end. All right, for those who are single, let's take a look at it. This first card here represents your current energies. Oh, we've got the Death card. Give me a moment to inspect this one. I get the feeling that a lot of you are going through a time of change at this point, and change is always difficult, where it's always confusing and not really, we're not really on even footing. We're not really sure where we're supposed to be headed. We're not sure where we're supposed to be going, or we're very confused. Okay, so I get the feeling that this is a time of change for a lot of you, and it's maybe this means that some of you have just left a relationship and now you're not sure where you're headed. Maybe some of you have not been in a relationship for a while, and you're starting to decide that it's time to go back into a relationship. Whatever the case may be, remember, this is a general reading and not everything's going to apply in a specific way to everyone, but generally I think a lot of you are going through change at this time, and you can figure out how that pertains to you. As we move to this next card, this card represents blockages that you have. Oh my, the 9 of Wands. So blockages concerning love or relationship. I get the sense here that a lot of you are feeling pretty defensive, like you're a little shut off. If you are one of the people who just came out of a relationship, this is understandable. You're kind of, your guard is up, you put up your defenses, and you feel a little bit hurt. As you can see, this guy here, exactly, he's a little bit hurt, he's put up his defenses, and you're not really ready for a relationship is the feeling I'm getting. And that's definitely blocking you. That's not that you want a relationship necessarily, but that is blocking you from finding love again. If you're one of those people who is deciding that you do want a relationship at this time, I definitely do see you being a little bit on the defensive side. Like think about it, like maybe some of you feel like that you've been wronged in some way, and you're a little bit defensive towards the opposite sex. And so I do get the sense that your guard is up, and that guard is stopping you from allowing love to enter into your life, is the feeling I'm getting from that. Okay. This card here represents what you can improve. We've got the 6 of Cups. This card is telling me to go back to your childhood. If you do want to find love, if you're looking for love, one thing that you can definitely do is remember what it was like when you had your first crush and what that feeling was like of just like your world revolved around that person, and that person, every time you saw them, your breath would be taken away, your heart would start racing, you start sweating, you don't know what to say. That is like, one of the truest forms of love. As we grow older, we're more jaded, and we're like, this person's not going to like my house, right? And you don't think about that as a kid, right? So in order to allow love to come in order to improve your chances of attracting love to you, I think you need to look at love from more of a childlike perspective and go back to high school, basically, or middle school even, and remember what it was like to fall in love or have a crush on somebody, and just treat love in that way, and not worry so much about the adult problems. Okay, you know what I mean? Do I make enough money? Do I, is my hair perfect? Do I have the best clothes? No, just focus on the feelings and the emotions and how that other person makes you feel, and go out looking for that, instead of saying, does that person make enough money, right? Instead of applying the same things to other people. Don't be an adult is basically what this card is saying. This card here represents what to avoid in the love search, and we've got Four of Pentacles. This card to me right now is talking about holding on too tightly to your way of life, possibly. In order for love to come in, you're going to have to be open to change and willing to change, and accepting the fact that this person is going to come into your life and make your life different. And, what to avoid is just holding on to the life you have right now. And if you want love to come in, you're going to have to accept that change will come with it. It's just part of the adventure, right? So you can't stay who you are and at the same time allow another person to come in and influence you. That it just can't happen. When you engage in a relationship, you're bringing two separate entities, and you're creating basically a whole new entity because you're merging those two things. So you can't really stay who you are and find someone else, right? So that's what to avoid, is holding on too tightly to your past life, to the way things are now, and not accepting change. And this card here represents where you are headed if you stay on this current path. We've got the Knight of Cups, and this is a positive card to me when we talk about love. You do have some cup energy here, but I get the feeling here that there's going to be some motion. Your emotions are going to be in motion. And, this means that I do think a lot of you are soon to find love. If you're searching for it, I do think it's coming soon. The Knight of Cups is basically the Prince Charming of the tarot deck. And so if you're a female and you're looking for that Prince Charming, he could be around the corner is basically where you're headed. So this is a very good omen. If you're a man, this could be you. You could be that Prince Charming, and you could find your stride and find your Casanova side to you, and really attract somebody to you. So very good omen, very good card for the future. I like that. Overall, just to go back, I see some change here, and as a result of that change that you've experienced recently or you're experiencing now, I do see some blockages up, some defenses. But in order to break down those defenses, you're going to need to adopt a more childlike attitude towards love and not be so adult about love, right? You're going to have to accept change. You can't hold on to who you are and allow another person to enter into your life. It's just not possible. So change must come. But I do see a prosperous future for most of you as far as putting your emotions to work and finding a person who's going to really see that what you are and who you are and how you do it, and really fall in love with that. So good things coming for Aries who are single. Let's take a look at the Earth Magic Oracle. We asked it what message it had for you guys, and we've got tree grounding. Okay, to me this card is saying to you that you need to be grounded. You need to, we have all these fanciful ideas of what love can be. And, like I said, we want this Prince Charming, if you're female, to come swoop you up. But I think it's important to be a little bit more grounded, a little bit more, rooted to the earth, like a tree is, so that you're not bringing all these fanciful ideas and mystical scenarios with you to the dating scene. You need to be more grounded and look at people for who they are rather than who you want them to be. I think that's very important. When you're looking for a new partner, is look at who they are deep down, and don't just see the exterior. Don't just see what the picture that you've painted of them. Look at the true self and see if that person is a match for you. Okay. Cool, good advice. I hope you got something out of that. Remember, if you want a more specific reading tailored just for you, then head on over to my Etsy shop. I can do this or a number of different kinds of readings for you. If you go to the link in the card or the description, that'll take you right there. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. It lets me know I did something right and that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything you want to say about this video, put those in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about things. And if you really enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, because I release these videos very regularly, okay? So for all my Aries friends, I wish you all the best of luck in your romantic relationships. And leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy taroting. Peace.